Most people who feel stuck think they're not choosing, but you're choosing all the time, not just through decisions, but also through what you prefer, what you desire, what you wish was different. Your preferences alone are already choices. Your desires are choices. So let's talk about a few real life examples here. Let's say you're overlooked for a promotion. What do you want in that moment? Do you want to be recognized, acknowledged, chosen? That means you choose to be chosen, right? You choose to be acknowledged, you choose to be recognized. That's what you'd rather want. Or let's say you don't get a project as a business owner. You would have preferred to win that project, to have that business. And that too means you choose to be chosen, even if you didn't get it. Or let's take another situation. Let's say someone is disrespectful with you. Your immediate internal reaction is that this is not how you want to be treated. Or when you're sick, you want to feel well again. You don't want to be sick, usually, right? Some people do, but most people don't. So my point is, these are not random reactions. These are clear preferences. And that means you are already choosing, even if you're not acting on those preferences yet, on those choices yet. Sometimes when you choose, what you choose doesn't immediately become your physical reality, it doesn't materialize immediately or manifest, as we sometimes say, and maybe even never. But that doesn't mean it's less of a choice. So, what does that mean then in practical terms? Your preferences show you direction, they show what matters to you. They show what your desires are, right? What you would like to have, what you want in life. And instead of dismissing these preferences, you can use them for future situations, for new opportunities, for how you show up next time, for how you prepare for a next time, for how you give these preferences strength, how you give them power, right? And this work is mostly done internally, even though for certain situations, we can, of course, also take external action to prepare, such as honing skills or gathering information or whatever it takes for that particular situation. But this more externally oriented work never replaces the internal work. Because if you only do the external action, then it becomes much harder to accomplish what you want to accomplish and to have what you want to have. Okay? Yes, action matters. It does, but it's not the whole picture. Yes, you can take action. Take care of your health, make your work more visible, improve your skills, whatever it is that you think you need to do. But action alone is not the full story. What's equally, if not more important, is your energy, your internal state, your what you actually expect and believe is possible for you. Some people say it's 90%. That's what we often call mindset, although I think it's actually not the best term for it because when we hear mindset nowadays, we often think of cool statements like the superficial stuff that we read everywhere, right? Like superficial declarations. Or as the word already says, just the mind. But this is about your feelings, your emotions, your energy, your vibrational frequency, not just the mind as we understand it. And so this entire conversation is about alignment between desire, energy, and openness. The key question here is, are you aligned with what you say you desire? Are you aligned with your preferences? It's not just about wanting something. It's about asking and being ready to receive. Not just externally, but internally deciding that this is what you desire and then ask for it and acknowledging that it is possible. Knowing that it's possible will be best. And then be ready to receive. This is where many people block themselves. And I have fallen into that trap myself, not just once, right? So many people say, I'm a great giver. But what about receiving? As if that were not equally important. It is. It's actually part of giving. And if you are not ready to receive, and I'm going to give you a few examples in just a bit, then you're actually depriving the other person of giving. And in this case, maybe the universe or whatever your word is, right? So let me give you a few examples. You might deflect compliments, or you might downplay your own skills or talents or accomplishments when somebody says something like, "Oh, this is really great. How did you do that?" Or "Wow," and they admire you, and sometimes we say things like, "Oh, it's nothing," or "Oh, that." Do you do that? That's deflecting compliments. That's not receiving them. Or you might feel uncomfortable receiving support. That was me in the past too. And then I was actually forced to ask for support a few times in my life, probably just because I did not want to do it and I had to learn this, right? Or you downplay opportunities. That's something we don't often talk about. An opportunity shows up, and because it's not the super duper top thing, you dismiss it. You dismiss it as not important enough. It's like when you find a penny or a dollar and you don't honor it as money because it's a small amount. But if we honor the small amounts, the bigger amounts will more readily come because it's a sign or a signal that we are ready to receive, right? So my key point here is if you're not open to receiving in small ways, you will probably also struggle to receive in bigger ways. And I'm sure you don't want that. Many people are very comfortable giving, but deeply uncomfortable receiving. And some people are even proud of that. And there's nothing to be proud about. Nothing. Zero. It's really important to learn to receive. And when you are not great at receiving, let me give you a few examples again here that shows in how you react when something good actually comes your way, right? Something good in a sense of something desirable in your word, something that you would prefer. So, and then in that case, you hesitate, you question it, you downplay it, you push it away without even realizing it. And instead of receiving it, you second guess it, you minimize it, or you feel uncomfortable with it being there for you. I'm going to say this again in a different way because it's just so critical to understand that, right? Have you ever found yourself brushing off compliments? I said that before, right? That's a way of refusing to receive. Or have you found yourself hesitating when opportunities show up? Making things smaller than they are instead of simply receiving them. questioning or shrinking opportunities or acting like it's not really meant for you. Again, that doesn't mean you have to grab every single opportunity. There are endless opportunities, but it's about not dismissing something because it might be too small and rather evaluating or assessing the opportunity and just see, okay, do I want this? Is this within my range of things that are preferred in my world? Because look, you are always choosing. You are already choosing through what you prefer, through what you desire, through what feels true to you. Now the question becomes what do you do with that? Right? Lots of talk, but what to do with it? Well, look at what you prefer. Look at your preferences. Look at your desires. Look at what you would like to experience. And then look at what do you do with that? Are you going to ignore it? Or are you going to take it seriously? So, important questions. What am I choosing? What am I asking for? What am I actually ready to receive? This is about awareness and honesty, and it applies to all areas of your life: work, career, business, relationships, health, wealth, self-care, hobbies, everything, right? So, what are you already choosing through your preferences, but then neglecting? Start with that and take your own preferences seriously. They are yours and they are worth it. And you are worth it. And if you got value from this video, then subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And feel free to leave comments below. I'll be back tomorrow with another video in this choice code series. And I'll see you then.